The water is gone, but the pain still drowns them. I'm Dr. Kumail, and today we speak for the wounds no one sees. Imagine the sound, not just the gentle patter of rain on a window pane, but a relentless roar as water rises, an angry surging beast consuming everything in its path. It's a sound that speaks of power, destruction, and the utter helplessness of those caught in its wake. Swallowing streets and homes, turning familiar landscapes into unrecognizable watery expanses. Everything you know, every landmark, every comforting sight begins to disappear under a churning tide, leaving behind only a sense of disorientation and loss. The world as you knew it is gone, replaced by a terrifying new reality. This is the stark, devastating reality for flood survivors, watching their world wash away, piece by agonizing piece. They stand by, often powerless, as their memories, their security, their very lives are swept away by the unforgiving current. It's not just possessions lost, the material things that can be replaced, but safety, the feeling of security within your own four walls, history, the legacy of generations past, and connection to home. The place where you built your life, your family, your memories. It's the loss of roots, the severing of ties to the place you belong. When the water recedes, leaving behind a trail of mud and debris, a new tide rises inside, one of emotion and trauma, a silent surge of grief and despair that can be just as overwhelming as the flood itself. The focus during a flood is survival, the primal instinct to protect yourself and your loved ones, getting to higher ground, finding safety, escaping the immediate danger. But after the rescue, when the sirens fade and silence falls, a heavy, unsettling quiet, the true scale of devastation sets in, the enormity of the loss becomes crushingly apparent. Survivors walk through mud-caked rooms, each step a reminder of what's been lost, picking up fragments of their lives, shattered pieces of what once was, a child's toy, now unrecognizable and coated in grime, a ruined photograph, faces blurred and faded by the relentless water. This is where the second disaster begins, the one that's often unseen and unspoken inside the mind, where the real battle for recovery truly begins. The emotional toll is immense, a weight that can feel unbearable, a mix of shock, disbelief, grief for all that's been lost, and uncertainty about the future and how to rebuild. Every creak in the floorboards, every rumble of thunder, every dark cloud looming on the horizon can trigger panic, bringing back the terror of the flood. We talk about rebuilding homes brick by brick, nail by nail, but emotional rebuilding is just as vital and often far more challenging. Recovery takes time, often years, patience with yourself in the process, and strength to face each day and keep moving forward. I've seen communities torn apart by water, the physical landscape scarred and the social fabric frayed, and the resilience, the unwavering spirit of neighbors helping neighbors, and hidden wounds, the silent suffering that often goes unnoticed, of the human spirit. Mental health consequences aren't weakness, they're not a sign of failure, they're a normal response to trauma, a natural reaction to an unnatural event. Understanding this, acknowledging the pain, is the first step toward healing. Caring for the mind, nurturing the spirit, is as vital as rebuilding the home, restoring the physical structure. The journey to recovery starts here, with acknowledging the pain, seeking support, and taking those first tentative steps forward. To understand the mental impact of floods, look at what happens in our brains. Your brain is a security system. When it senses danger, it triggers fight or flight. Adrenaline and cortisol flood your body, sharpening your senses and fueling survival. During a flood, this alarm stays on for hours or days, leaving you in constant high alert. The problem? When the danger passes, the alarm often doesn't shut off. Everyday triggers, a downpour, a news report, can set it off again. Survivors feel jumpy, irritable, unable to relax. It's not a choice, it's your brain trying to protect you. This constant vigilance is exhausting, draining energy and disrupting sleep. Over time, stress hormones wear you down. These reactions aren't flaws, they're your brain's way of keeping you safe in a world that suddenly feels unsafe. Understanding this helps us move toward healing. Let me share the poignant story of Maria and her young son Leo. It's a story of resilience, but also a stark reminder of the hidden wounds that disasters can inflict, especially on the most vulnerable. It all began after a massive flood, a devastating event that swept through their community, leaving a trail of destruction and despair in its wake. The floodwaters rose rapidly, engulfing homes and businesses, and forcing families to flee for their lives. Maria and her son Leo were among those displaced, forced to escape with only the clothes on their backs, leaving behind everything they owned. They waded through chest-high water, the fear palpable in the air as they sought refuge on higher ground. In the immediate aftermath, Leo seemed quiet, almost unnaturally so, but Maria hoped he was okay, just processing the shock of what they had endured. She tried to reassure him, telling him that everything would be all right, but deep down, she was worried. Then, a few days later, the trauma began to surface. He started screaming uncontrollably at bath time, the simple act of washing triggering a wave of fear and panic. He refused to go outside if even the slightest clouds appeared in the sky, his little body trembling at the mere suggestion of rain. The sky, once a source of wonder, had become a symbol of terror, and he woke up crying at night, haunted by nightmares of rushing water and the loss of their home. Sleep offered no escape from the trauma, it only amplified his fears. His drawings, once filled with sunshine and happy faces, now showed their house submerged in dark scribbled water, a chilling depiction of his inner turmoil. The trauma was coming out in pictures and nightmares, a desperate cry for help that Maria struggled to understand. She felt helpless, unsure of how to soothe his pain. Maria too was deeply anxious, battling her own fears and insecurities in the wake of the disaster. Her heart pounded with every rainstorm, the sound of thunder sending shivers down her spine, a constant reminder of the devastation they had experienced. Sleep eluded her, the nights filled with worry and the haunting images of the flood. She tossed and turned, unable to find peace or rest. She felt utterly helpless, believing she was failing as a mother, unable to protect her son from the emotional scars of the disaster. Their journey to healing began when a compassionate volunteer noticed Leo's drawings during a community support event. The volunteer, trained in child psychology, gently explained to Maria that Leo's reactions were normal responses to trauma, a way for him to process the overwhelming experience. For the first time since the flood, Maria didn't feel alone in her struggle. She realized that she wasn't failing, she simply needed support and guidance. Acknowledging their fear, talking openly about their experiences and seeking professional help was the crucial first step towards healing. Their story, though unique to them, is a reflection of the silent struggle faced by thousands of families, long after the floodwaters recede and the cameras are gone. Children absorb their parents' stress, mirroring their anxieties, all while trying to process their own fears and confusion. It's a complex and delicate dynamic. Healing truly starts with understanding, with compassionate support, and with the courage to seek help when it's needed most. It's a journey, not a destination, and every step forward is a victory. Many survivors face a heavy emotion, guilt. Why feel guilty for surviving? It's common and deeply painful. What if I'd left sooner? Why was my house spared? The mind searches for control in chaos. Guilt can be isolating, ashamed to grieve small losses when others lost more. The mind replays events, searching for a different outcome. Alongside guilt comes profound sadness, grieving not just possessions but home, community, and security. This grief can be overwhelming, making it hard to feel hope. Recognize these emotions as part of healing. Feeling sad or guilty means you care deeply. The key is not letting these emotions consume you. Acknowledge them. I feel guilty and that's okay. That's where healing begins. You're not just rebuilding a house. You're navigating the landscape of human emotion. For some, trauma develops into PTSD, or generalized anxiety disorder. PTSD is the brain stuck in a loop. The flood feels like it's happening now, leading to flashbacks and nightmares. Survivors may avoid reminders, feel numb, or be constantly on edge. Anxiety can become a constant companion, worrying about the future, safety, or another flood. This isn't just concern, it's a persistent dread that interferes with life. Physical symptoms, muscle tension, fatigue, sleeplessness are common. Recognizing PTSD and anxiety is the first step to help. These are treatable medical conditions, not signs of weakness. Therapies and medications can help process trauma and calm the mind. Reaching out for help is strength, not failure. You don't have to live with invisible scars forever. Healing is possible. In crisis, healing can feel overwhelming, so start small. Focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly, hold, exhale even slower. Repeat, this calms your body's alarm system. Ground yourself in the present, use your senses. Notice 5 things you see, 4 you feel, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. This anchors you in the now. Limit news exposure. Constant images of disaster keep your brain on high alert. Set times for updates, then turn it off. Listen to calming music or a podcast instead. Focus on what you can control, no matter how small. Organize belongings, make a list, drink water, eat a meal. These tiny victories restore a sense of agency. Even small steps help you regain control. You have more power than you think. As you move from crisis to recovery, remember that this is a process, not an event. It requires time, patience, and a conscious effort to nurture your well-being. Build an inner shelter. Create a space, both physically and mentally, where you feel safe, secure, and at peace. This could be a quiet corner in your home, a comforting routine, or simply a state of mind you cultivate through mindfulness and self-compassion. Re-establish routines. Go to bed and eat at regular times, even in a new place. These familiar patterns can provide a sense of normalcy and control when everything else feels uncertain. Simple rituals provide stability when the world feels chaotic. Whether it's making a cup of tea in the morning, taking a walk in nature, or reading a favorite book before bed, these small acts can ground you in the present moment and offer a sense of predictability. Physical self-care is essential. Move your body, even a little, to burn off stress and boost mood. Even a short walk or some gentle stretching can make a difference. Prioritize water and healthy food when possible. Nourishing your body is a crucial part of the healing process. Rest whenever you can. Your brain and body need it to heal. Don't underestimate the power of a nap or a quiet moment to recharge. Allow yourself to grieve. There's no right way or timeline. Grief is a natural response to loss, and it's important to honor your feelings without judgment. Create a small ritual to honor what you've lost. A letter, a tree, a memorial. These acts of remembrance can help you process your grief and find meaning in the aftermath of trauma. Expressing grief is vital. Suppressing it can cause problems later. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist, or find healthy ways to express your emotions through journaling, art, or music. Be patient and kind with yourself. Recovery isn't a straight line. There will be ups and downs, setbacks and breakthroughs. There will be good and bad days. That's normal. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment, and remember that even small steps forward are progress. Don't compare your journey to others. Everyone heals at their own pace and in their own way. Celebrate small victories and forgive yourself for tough moments. Acknowledge your resilience and strength, and remember that you are doing the best you can. You've survived something extraordinary. Recognize your strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Show yourself compassion as you rebuild. You are worthy of love, kindness, and understanding, especially from yourself. After a flood, it's easy to feel alone, but connection is a powerful tool for recovery. Talking about your experience with friends, family, or other survivors lifts a weight from your shoulders. Sharing your story helps you process and realize you're not alone. Support groups create safe spaces for sharing and healing. Listening to others validates your feelings and offers hope. Helping others, clearing debris, sharing resources restores purpose and community. Sometimes professional help is needed. Therapists and counselors provide tools for trauma recovery. Think of them as doctors for emotional wounds. Reaching out is a proactive step toward rebuilding your life. The journey out of disaster is hard, but there is hope. Recovery is possible. The human spirit is resilient. Communities rebuild not just homes, but hope. Scars may remain, but they don't define your future. Healing isn't forgetting, it's learning to live with the memory. Recovery is like sunrise after a long night. Light returns, slowly but surely. There will be shadows, but each step brings you closer to a new dawn. Post-traumatic growth is real. Many find new strength and perspective. You survived, and that's incredible strength. Mental health is the foundation for rebuilding. Take care of your mind as you would your body. Reach out, talk, ask for help. You're not alone. The waters have receded. Now healing begins. Healing minds takes more than time. It takes all of us, like share and subscribe, because someone out there still feels alone.